is cloud computing?
Hi, we are from IM 245.
My name is Hazim.
My name is Hazim.
Today we're going to talk about the cloud computing. So Hazim, what is cloud computing?
Okay, cloud computing is the computing based on the internet, where in the past people will run application or program from software downloaded on a physical computer or server on their building. Cloud computing allow people access in the same kind of application through the internet.
Oh, that is mentioned. So I add more. Computing, cloud computing refer to the use of computing resources. Those being hardware and or software that reside on a remote machine and delivered to the end user as a service over the networks. With the most relevant example in the internet, when you mention a user entrusts his data to a remote service on which has limited to no influence.
Okay, when it first appeared as a term, it's a lot created dismissed. It is being the latest flash fad. However, cloud computing managed to cut through the hype and truly shift the paradigm of how IT is done. Nowadays, the cloud computing has achieved cutting costs for enterprise and helping users focus on their core business instead of being obstructed by IT issues.
Cloud computing is a computing terms of metaphor that evolved in the late 19th, based on utility and consumption of resources. Cloud computing involved deploying groups of remote serve and software network that allowed different kind of data sources be uploaded for real-time processing to generate computing result without the need to store the processed data on the cloud. Cloud can be classified as a public, private, and hybrids. In the simple terms, cloud computing means storing and access data and programs over the internet instant your computer hard drive. The cloud is just a metaphor to the internet. When you store the data or run the program from the hard drive, that's called local storage computing. Everything you need is a physical close to you, which means accessing your data is fast and easy for that one computer, or other local networks.
Now, do you understand about the cloud computer? Next, we're going to talk about the benefits of cloud computing. So, I will pass to Haziq to explain more about the benefits of cloud computing. So, Haziq, can you explain more?
Alright, now let me tell you about the benefit of cloud computing. First is cloud computing is easy access to information. Once you register yourself in the cloud, you can access the information from anywhere, where the internet connection, the convenient feature lets you move beyond the time zone and geographical location. And second is cost efficient. Cloud computing is probably the most cost efficient method to use, test and upgrade. Traditional desktop software cost companies long-term of finance, adding up the lesson fees for multiple users can prove to be very expensive for establishment recommend. The cloud, on the other hand, is available at cheaper rates and hence can significantly lower the company IT expense. Besides, there is many one-time payment, pay as you go, and other scalable options available, which makes it very reasonable for the company in question. Next is disaster recovery. When a company starts relying on a cloud-based service, there is no longer need complex disaster recovery plan. Cloud computing is takes care of most issues that they do it faster. The same study found that mid-sized business had the best recovery time of all, taking almost the time of larger companies to recover. And next is backup. Since all your data is stored in the cloud, backing it up and restoring the same is relatively much easier than storing the same on a physical device. Furthermore, most cloud service provide as usual competent enough to handle recovery on information. Hence, this makes the entire process of backup or recovering much simpler than other traditional methods of data storage. The various cloud provides offer reliable and flexible backup solution. In some cases, the cloud itself is used solely as a backup repository of the data located in local computer. Alright, next is software update. In the cloud, software integration is usually something that occurs automatically. This means that you need to take additional effort to customize and integrate your application as per your preference. This aspect usually take care of itself. Not only that, cloud computing allows you to customize your option with risk. Hence, you can handpick just those service or software application that you think will best suit your particular enterprise. Next is cloud is environmentally friendly. The cloud is generally more efficient than the typical IT infrastructure, and IT takes fewer resources to compute, thus saving energy. For example, when servers are not used, the infrastructure normally scales down, freeing up resources and consuming less power. At any moment, only the resources are truly needed are consumed by the system.
Alright, the next benefit of cloud computing is CapEx free. Cloud computing services are typically pay as you go, so there is no need for capital expenditure at all. And because cloud computing is much faster to deploy, business have a minimal project startup cost and predictable ongoing operating expense. Next is security. Some 800,000 laptops are lost each year in airports alone. This can have some serious monetary implications, but when everything is stored in the cloud, data can still be accessed no matter what happens to a machine. Other benefit of cloud computing is document control. According to one study, 70% of knowledge workers collaborate with people in different time zones and regions at least monthly. If a company does not use the cloud, workers have to send file back and forth email, meaning only one person can work on a file at a time and the same document has tons of names and formats. Cloud computing keeps all the files in one central location and everyone works off on one central copy. Employees can even chat to each other while making changes together. This whole process makes collaboration stronger, which increase efficiency and improve a company bottom lines. And next is almost unlimited storage. Storing information in the cloud gives you almost unlimited storage capacity. Hence, you no more need to worry about running out of storage space or increasing your current storage space availability. And next is cloud is environmentally friendly. The cloud is in general more efficient than the typical IT infrastructure, and IT takes fewer resources to compute, thus saving energy. For example, when servers are not used, the infrastructure normally scales down, freeing up resources and consuming less power. At any moment, only the resources that are truly needed are consumed by the system. Lastly, quick deployment. This is last and most importantly. Cloud computing gives you the advantage of quick deployment. Once you apply for this method of functioning, your entire system can be functionally fully in a matter of a few minutes. Of course, the amount of time taken here will depend on the exact kind of technology that you need for your business.
Right, so this is all about the benefit of cloud computing. Next is Amirul will explain you more about the risk of cloud.
Thanks, Hazim. Today I'll talk about the risk about the clouds of computing. So, first, environment security. The concentration of computer resources and user in the cloud computing environment also represent the consideration of the security threats. Because of their size and significance, cloud environments are often targeted by the virtual machine and the puts malware, brutal forces and other attacks. Ask your cloud providers about the access control, vulnerability assessment, practice and patch and configuration management control to see that you are adequately protecting your data. Okay, that is first for risk. Second, data privacy and security. Hosting communication data with the cloud service provide involved with transfer of a considerations amount of organization control over the data security and provider. Make sure your vendor understand your organization data privacy and security needs. Also, make sure your cloud provider is aware, particularly data security and privacy rules and regulations that apply to your entity, such as the payment card industry data security standards, or the Federal Information Security Management Act of 2002. Okay, that is second. Third is data availability and business continuity. A major risk to business continuity in the cloud computing environment is loss of the internet connectivity. Ask your cloud provider what control are placed to ensure internet connectivity. If a vulnerable is identified, you may have the terminates on the access provider, cloud provider until the vulnerability is deleted. Okay. Next is record retention requirements. If your business is subject to record retentions requirements, make sure your cloud provider understand what they are and so they can meet them. Next is disaster recovery. Hosting your computing resources and data at the cloud provider makes the cloud provider disaster recovery capability really important to your company disaster recovery plans. Last but not least, network dependency. Cloud computing depends on the internet. Most basic drawback of the cloud computing is that you need internet connection to access the cloud, and this direct tap to the internet means that this system responds to the outage and service interrupts at any times. This cloud occurs in the middle of task transactions, means the action could be delayed or lost entirely if time sensitive. That's all about the risk.
Right. There is 4 model and type of cloud computing. Hazim, can you explain the categories?
Okay, thank you. Okay, first model of cloud computing. Infrastructure as a services. This is the most basic service model, which provide the user with a visual infrastructure. For example, server and the data storage space. Visualization played a major role in this mode by allowing cloud providers to supply resources on demand, accepting them from their large pools installed in data center. Second model is platform as a services. In this model, cloud provider deliver to the user development environments services where the user can develop and run in-house root application. The services might include an operating system, a programming language, resolutions, environments, data, and so on. Okay, next.
Okay. Third is a software as a service. In this model, the cloud provide the user with access and already developed application that are running in the cloud. The access is achieved by cloud client, and the cloud user does not manage the infrastructure where the application resides. Eliminating with this way the need to install and run the application on the cloud user own computer. And lastly is network as a service. This is the least common model where the user is provided with the network connectivity service such as VPN and bandwidth on demand.
Changes to computer thinking. Today, we are in the middle of a revolution in business computing. In around 2700 BC, Sumerians invented the abacus to make arithmetic easier, faster, and less prone to error. Since then, mankind has been inspired by the power that technology has to change our lives. From Leonardo da Vinci's first drawings of a mechanical calculator in 1502 AD through to Charles Babbage's difference engine in the early part of the 20th century, there have been paradigm changes in thinking, each time significantly advancing our relationship with technology. As thinking became more abstract, the more the advances in technology have accelerated. Alan Turing and Tommy Flowers realized that the matter or software should live separately from the body or hardware. And arguably the most significant democratizing innovation in our human history was when Tim Berners-Lee saw neural networks rather than physical or electrical paths, and from that devised a system that enabled disparate computers to communicate with each other anywhere. To understand technology's current revolution, we have to go back to 1879. When Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, he immediately knew that his technology had the power to change the lives of every person on the planet. The light bulb was an amazing invention, but there was a problem. There was no publicly available electricity. Less than 4 years later, Thomas Edison had built the first power stations in London and Pearl Street, New York. People didn't want the power station. They wanted the light. You could say this realization was the first true light bulb moment. Utility is the foundation of the largest single change to computer thinking this century. A change so great you could compare it to the computing equivalent of the Industrial Revolution, a revolution that was fueled by utility. It started with water. Wheels were used to grind flour or power machines. It wasn't exactly scalable. Factories had to be built at the source of that power. If a business grew and needed more power, it would have to upgrade to a bigger wheel or up sticks and shift the entire factory to a more powerful river. Steam power meant factories could move away from the river, but workers were still needed to run the power station. Every worker on the power supply was one not working on the output of the factory. So when power, electricity and water became a utility, industry had what it needed, when it was needed. This meant the power station workers could spend time making better use of the power and making the factory more productive. Now, as with water, electricity and gas, computing is also a utility. It is a resource to be switched on and off. Users consume and pay for as much as is needed when it is needed. This is the essence of cloud computing. Utility-based computing enables businesses to exactly align technology expenditure with requirements, bursting instantly from 1 to tens of thousands of users and back down again. Information technology departments can dynamically scale processing, memory and storage, only ever paying for the amount that is used. Before the revolution, in the dark ages of computing, companies bought technology based on what they guessed they might need in 3 years' time. If they bought too little, they ran the risk of having underperforming systems, meaning unhappy customers and possibly lower profits. So it was better to buy more, just in case. Today, any sized business can have access to the security, compliance, transparency, scalability and reliability of systems which until now have only been affordable to the largest companies on the planet. Like the pioneers of the Industrial Revolution, the businesses of tomorrow understand that the power of technology lies in what it delivers to them and their customers. Today, successful businesses need to serve their customers faster and better than ever before, and they need to empower their employees with the latest technology. Business needs communication, collaboration, customer relationships, enterprise resource, logistics, finance, and human resource software. These essential services are the light bulbs of modern computing, and Data Barracks is your power station. Data Barracks, switching on the light bulbs of tomorrow.